Hi, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life, and what I'm doing, I'm hustling about here trying to get things all together to make dehydrated celery, keep its chlorophyll color of green, brilliant green. This is ones that I did last week. I did both leaves and the stems from my garden, and because they were thin stems, I didn't get everything I wanted. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go get a bunch more so that I can show people how to do it. But in addition to that, I am also going to make some pickled celery. So I've got the first batch went into the water, and how to do that is you put half a teaspoon of baking soda into every cup of water. So I had 16 cups of water, and I think it's about 3 tablespoons of baking soda. So it should make it nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first do the pickling stuff. So to do that, I need half a cup of water. I'm going to use my filtered water here. Well, that filter is empty. Hold on. Looks like my husband emptied out the filter. But fortunately for me, I always have a backup ready. So half a cup of water. To half a cup of apple cider vinegar. So we'll end up with a cup in here. And I'm letting the water continue to boil because I'll be adding more celery to do the dehydrating. Put this in the pan and get this started cooking. This is for the brine for the pickles. Alright, the things that I want to put into the pickled celery is I've got half a cup of apple cider vinegar, half a cup of water. The next thing I want to do is I want to put 2 tablespoons of organic sugar. I was asked earlier today what kind of sugar I use because the person knows that I don't eat a lot of sugar. But some things need the sugar, and pickles is one of those. And it was in my sauce. My sauces, the fruit sauces I made yesterday. So she says, well, I want to make it, but I don't want to put sugar in it. And there really is no alternate sugar except for the organic, and that's all I can say is to use the organic sugar. That's the best. Using stevia is not going to help. Putting honey into the pickles, I haven't heard of that, but you know what? I'm always open to learn. Let's see. The next thing is I want 2 teaspoons of real sea salt. It's the only thing I use. It's not iodized. I try to get my iodine through sea kelp and a few things like that. Okay, a teaspoon. So we want 2 teaspoons of sea salt. And I'm not a big salt person either, but some things you kind of need the salt. And let's see, what else do I want to put? I have these garlic cloves that I also want to get ready. I'm not going to put them in yet. So we'll get these started, and I suppose it's easier to see what's going on. Oh, don't think you need to see my washed celery right now. Let's see. And I'm just getting the brine ready. I'm going to just get some of the garlic ready. Again, the garlic peels I'm going to put into my vegetable collection, which what I do is it's too much to give to the chickens. They're not eating that much of my leftover produce, so I'm saving it, and I will make some vegetable broth once I get done with a bunch of other things that I'm making with vegetables. And then I use that vegetable broth in a variety of things. Sometimes the skin will come off if I do that. Instead of sitting there trying to peel it, it's easier just to do that and it comes right off. And I already did this one earlier. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to take some of these cooled stalks, and I want to show you how beautifully green they are. These are really lovely green colors. So again, what's happening is the baking soda just pulls out that color, which is natural, and I'm just putting them into bite size. And the reason that I'm doing this, and you can see that boiling it did not change the crunch at all. Oh goody. Some days it would be nice to have a puppy so they could eat up the scraps on the floor. And I'm not bringing the chickens back in. They had their time in the house. So glad that they're outside now. These are looking really lovely. These will go into the refrigerator. I could make them shelf stable, but for right now I want my husband and I to try them to make sure this is something that we would want more often. And I have a feeling that I will, because a lot of times when I make tuna fish, egg salad, stuff like that, and pasta salads and stuff like that, I tend to put stuff like this in it, meaning I put celery in, pickles, so it's like, what if I just pickle my celery? And I thought that would be good, so I'm hoping this works out really well. Plus, you can have pickled celery on your salad. I got the brine to boiling, and so now I'm just getting this all filled up. And then I will get back to the drying. These are still hot. And what's going to happen is I'm going to be putting these right into the other celery pieces. I'm going to put right into the dehydrator as they come out. And I will probably chop them down into a little bit bigger than these, probably about 3 inches, or maybe that size. Now I am going to do this, oops, that one's a little full. Alright, so now the next step is to put the added extras into this. And what I'm going to do is I was going to put it through the garlic press, but I think I'm going to just do it like this. I can't imagine anybody not liking garlic, but this way they can see that there's garlic in there. I suppose I have fermented garlic, and it's amazing. Different than pickling, but it's still fermenting. I fermented carrots, and I fermented garlic, I fermented onions, and I'm just trying to find ways to preserve more and more. Okay, so the next item I want to put in these jars is, let's see, got the salt, got the sugar. Okay, let's get some clove garlics. We want, oh, we already did the garlic. We want a teaspoon of peppercorn in each jar. So I don't have a big container. I ran out, so I'm going to just use my grinder. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to get, this is how I do a lot of stuff. Put the peppercorns in there. But if you don't like the science of how I do this, it's about a teaspoon of peppercorns. Let's see. I'm going to put some mustard seed in here. Again, you're talking about a teaspoon. What else do I want to put? I want to put red pepper in it, but I want my husband to try this first, so I won't do that today. I'll put some coriander seed in it. Again, we're talking about a teaspoon. And now that that's all set, I am going to, oh nope, I want that one still on. And the jars are hot, so I can put this hot brine right over there. And I even it out both ways. Kind of splitting it up. And then all I do, since it wasn't enough, you know what it is? I think that recipe is for one. So I'm going to do another bit of this, half a cup and half a cup. Warm it up. Because it's not high enough in my opinion. Okay, again, it's going to be 2 tablespoons of organic sugar. And we're going to put 2 teaspoons of real salt. And as I mentioned, this is not iodized. And I guess you could use some pickling salt. I chose this instead. I actually do have some pickling salt. Okay, I'm going to let this boil up again. You just basically want to get to where the sugar and the salt has evolved, actually dissipated, so it all dissolves is the word I'm looking for. Okay. And let's finish getting this in there. I didn't want to put water in half and half because then it wouldn't get that pickling that I wanted. Alright, this is much better. Perfect. It gets them both nice and full. And all I want to do now, take a chopstick or long handle thin spoon or something, use the handle part, and just get that right under and make sure that everything is under the brine. What I'm doing is I'm getting those air pockets out and stuff. And I see that this could use a little bit more. Remember, I am not canning this, so I don't have to focus on that 1-inch headspace. It's going to go right into the refrigerator. But I'm not going to put it in the refrigerator right now. I am actually going to let it cool for 30 to 60 minutes. And hot. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? And I think it's going to be quite lovely later. Alright, so back to the drawing board of getting our celery ready for drying. Get a few things out of my way. Don't need that anymore. Don't need this. I'm trying to be quiet because I know earlier I was hard time with messy stuff. And I was making noise. All right. That being said, I am going to take the rest of them out of that pan so that I can work with them, and I'm going to put these in the boiling water. Now I could put these right on the dehydrator trays just like this, and it would be fine. But because I think I'm going to cut these in half. The reason is things shrink up in the dehydrator. Well, I got quite a bit here. I just want to get these in there. Put these out of the way for a second. And bring a tray over to show you how I am going to do this. So I'm going to take these, and I'll do the rest off camera, is I'm going to take these and kind of cut them in half and then put them on the dehydrator tray. And anything that's brown I'll probably not use, because I will put that in my vegetable broth. I love that it stays kind of crunchy. It's kind of like a second inspection of your celery. So the first step is to cut off the ends, wash your celery, cut it down, put it into boiling water with half a teaspoon of baking soda. And that's what I used, was baking soda. I don't know if you can see that. So it's baking soda per cup of boiling water. And then once it's all done, you put these on the tray. No overlapping if you can avoid it. I've got about 12 trays there, so I've got plenty of space. And I won't be able to show you the finished product today, but that's why I wanted to show you it'll turn out like that when I go and put it through a process of powdering it down or whatever I choose to do. So there I have it. I'm going to put it in and get another tray. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to keep going from, like, these will get cut and put on a tray. I'll be putting more into the boiling water until I have all trays full. I will process it. It'll probably take 6 to 8 hours in a dehydrator. Now, somebody may ask, well, I don't have a dehydrator. There's no problem with that, because what you can do is you can use it in your oven. I actually did these in the oven. My lowest temp is 170, so the best temp is 135. I can monitor that on the dehydrator. If your temperature does not go all the way down like mine didn't, you can put your oven down to the lowest setting. Mine was 170. And you can open your door and just leave it. I know it's kind of a tough day to leave the doors open, so try to do it in the winter or on a cold, rainy day like I thought we were going to have today. But we're not having that today. So just kind of plan your day. If you know that it's going to be a rainy day, that'd be a great day to do this, if it's something that you're interested in doing. Can you buy this? I don't know. I've never tried buying dehydrated celery before. But I think it's easy enough to do, even if all you do is a small batch. And here's tray number 2. And I'm going to just keep on going, and then I'll set the timer, and I will let that go. And that's how I do it. Now I won't be showing you how to make the celery salt today, because then you're going to be sitting here listening to me chatter and chatter and chatter. And I don't want to do that to you nor me, because I would rather just focus on the job. So, recap. The pickled celery. You do the same process of cleaning your celery, chopping it to the size you want. If these fit into your canning jars and you like that, by all means, I didn't show you, did I? You can do the full length in your canning jar. Some people do that. Most people do. I'm not, because I'm putting it into a salad. I could put it on a green salad just to have a little bit of spice. And I could also do it in tuna salad and all the other salads that I mentioned. So that's why I'm doing it in pieces. And then the seasonings I used, please use whatever pickling season you prefer, like when you're making your own homemade pickles. Maybe you've never made pickles, but here are some recommendations. So I used per pint jar, it's half a cup of apple cider vinegar, half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of organic sugar if you can get it, 2 teaspoons real sea salt, 2 clove garlics. I crushed it, you saw what I did. 1 teaspoon of peppercorns, and they mentioned like 4 stalks of celery is what it took to do this. I put in 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. I didn't use red pepper. If my husband doesn't like this, I'm going to put red pepper into the next batch. Coriander is another good one. And if you don't have a lot of that stuff, use pickling spice. That's pretty easy to come by. You can get it at many different stores. And then you just put that brine that we made and pour it over those seasonings and the celery, and you set it aside. Make sure your jars have been washed, hot soapy water, rinsed out good. I put mine in the oven to keep a nice hot temp. Let it sit for an hour, and then you can put it in a refrigerator and keep it there for 24 hours. After that, you can start enjoying them. Now for the dehydrated the dehydrated celery, same process. Clean, wash, boil with half a teaspoon of baking soda per cup of water. I have quite a bit of water, however much you can fit in there. If you have a pan that has a strainer, that's the easiest way. That's what I like. When they're done, cut them to the size that you want, and remember, they will shrink up in your dehydrator, your oven, or whatever method you choose to dehydrate, and then you have them to put into items. And you can powder it down later once it's all dehydrated. So it's really up to you how you will use this, and I will use it for a variety of things. And even in a powdered, you can put it with, I dehydrate kale, I dehydrate all kinds of greens, like beet greens and all that. And you can use that for greens for when you want to add to different things like meatloaf or smoothies or whatever it is you're baking, you want greens in it. That's what you can do. So I hope this was helpful. That was my intent. And I hope that you have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up if you liked it, leave a comment. Remember, keep it positive, and share if it's possible, if you know somebody who would benefit from hearing this. Have a great day. God bless.